You are listening to the Fancy Free podcast where my guests and I share our most embarrassing funny stories so that we all feel less alone in our imperfections and forge connection through vulnerability and humor. I'm Joanne Jarrett and I'm your host, and today I have a listener with me. I'm so excited about that. Today I'm talking to Tonya Flores. Tonya is a mom and a substitute teacher. She has 3 kids, age 11, 9, and 8. And when her baby went to kinder, she became a substitute teacher. She's going on her 4th year. She got married a little later in life than most of her friends to a man 16 years older than herself who'd never been married before. They had a lot of adjusting to do and letting things slide, and they were both pretty set in their ways by the time they married. It's been 12 years, and so far he's still putting up with her, so that's a good sign. Tonya, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Just so the listeners know, you guys, Tonya was just looking back through the Facebook group and noticed, I think it was a story about me falling off a homecoming float in front of my kids and all their friends. and she was like, oh, I can relate. And she just made a little comment and I was like, hang on. Will you please come on the show? And she was like, what, me? And I'm like, yes. So anyway, here we are.
I kind of feel like maybe you're scraping the bottom of the barrel here, Joanne.
Oh, stop it. And she's humble too, you guys. Fill in the blanks. What did I miss about who you are and what you do?
I live in Arizona. I live in the oven.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Yes.
In Phoenix, Arizona, it is hotter than Hades. And I've lived here my whole life.
So if you haven't acclimated by now, you're not going to.
No.
Yeah.
I went to school in Flagstaff and realized I hate the snow. I hate having to be somewhere when it's snowing because it will always be my car that is stuck.
Okay, because I was thinking, well, Flagstaff, if I went from Phoenix to Flagstaff, which is like this cooler area kind of in the mountains, I would be like, yeah, I'm staying here. But you didn't like the snow, so that eliminates like Flagstaff and all of the northern United States for you.
Right. I stayed in Flagstaff like over my summers going, yes, this is the life. And then winter would come and I'd be like, why am I here?
That's so funny. I think that was wise to stay there for the summer when you can actually relax and enjoy it, because I chose where I went to college in August. I went up to Seattle with my mom. It was absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. And then I was never there in August again until right before I graduated, because I had to take a whole year's worth of French in the summer to get my degree. But anyway, and so that wasn't relaxing at all. Let's go through your rapid fire questions. What is your love language?
Acts of service. Please do my dishes, mop my floors, do something so that I don't have to.
And you're like, what have you done for me lately? Yes, I relate. Okay. If you had 24 hours alone in your home with no pressing to do, so what would you do?
I would probably sleep and maybe read and like eat all the things that I hide from my children.
Yes. Isn't it so exciting when you discover something you forgot you hid? Have you ever done that? It's so exciting. I'll go out to, a cute little shopping town with girlfriends and I'll buy fudge, but then it'll just be in the bag, the last thing that I bought. And then I hide it for my kids when I get home. And then like half a year later, I'm like, I don't care if this fudge is stale. I'm eating this fudge when I find it.
Sugar doesn't go bad. Like sugar,
exactly. Sugar and fat? No. Yeah. As long as it's not been in the heat, we're good to go. And I mean, if it's a little crispy, fine. It's just a different kind of candy then, right?
Exactly.
Oh, gosh. Okay. What is the weirdest thing in your purse?
I have a glucometer and an inordinate amount of candy.
Oh, okay. Somebody has type 1 diabetes.
I do.
Is it you? Oh my gosh. Okay.
It is me.
Yes. I want to know I'm so curious about this whole glucometer thing. Do you have to poke your fingertips or do you use a continuous one now in your skin?
I do have a closed loop system pump. So I have an insulin pump with a continuous glucose monitor, and the pump reacts to my blood sugars. So if my blood sugar is going high, it gives me more insulin. If my blood sugar is going low, it stops giving me insulin. But it has to be calibrated. Like, it'll beep at me. You have to calibrate. Calibrate now. I'm like, shut up. Leave me alone.
It's at the bottom of the list. I have kids. Don't you understand?
Yes.
Okay.
So yes, yeah. I do have to still poke myself with my system. And I hate using my fingers. I use my forearms.
Oh,
So
really? That's interesting.
Probably not all the way 100% accurate all the time, but if I feel different than what it tells me, then I'll poke my finger.
Yeah, it works for you. Yeah. Well, and the thing is too, the insulin pump can give you more insulin if you're high, but it can't do anything for you except stop giving insulin if you're low. So sometimes that's not enough and you have to slam some sugar.
Yes. So this is why there is also all sorts of candies in my purse.
Yes. Okay. 10-4.
Mm-hmm.
I have had a rash of people saying, oh, I don't carry a purse. And I'm like, how? I need to come over and take notes. Like, how do you not carry a purse? I have a huge purse. People are handing me their coffee cups and I'm like, finding room for all this in my purse and shoes and whatever. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't understand those people. You don't either, it sounds like.
Oh yes. I have funny purse stories too. So.
Oh, good. Okay. If you had to endorse a brand, what would it be and why?
Okay. I got two for you.
Awesome.
If I had to endorse a brand, it would be Aftershok's open ear headphones. It is what I am using right now. They are magic. Gosh.
Tell me more.
They're bone conducting sound, so it's not like in your ear. So I can still hear what's going on around me, but still listen to all of my favorite podcasts and whatever else.
So you can listen to a podcast and not ignore your kids.
Right. Well, I mean, that's brilliant. I still do.
Yeah, you can still choose to ignore them. Oh, that's okay. I'm going to link to those in the show notes after I Google them and find them. Awesome.
Oh,
okay.
They're amazing. And then my other thing is Zox wristbands. ZOX wristbands. They are recycled, like water bottles, I think is what they make them out of. And they're stretchy and they are super colorful, and then they have positive sayings in them. Like one side has a positive saying and the other side has pretty graphics.
Oh, that's cool.
And there's all sorts of sayings. Like, I don't know, I just bought them for my kids and myself so that if, they're up at school and they're having a bad day, they can look at their wristband and say, I'm enough, or never alone, or,
Oh, I love that. That gave me goosebumps. Yeah. Okay, I'll link to that in the show notes too. That sounds like such a good gift or, stocking stuffer or something. Awesome. Mm-hmm. I love that. Okay, what is your best feature?
I think it's my eyes and my smile and my laugh.
How many of you are now going to zoom in on her picture to look at her eyes and her smile? I will in just a sec. That's awesome. Okay, just because I'm nosy and curious and because I'm a medical person, tell me how old you were when you developed type 1 diabetes.
My 21st birthday.
What? You're like, is the universe playing a bad trick on me or what?
Yes. No, I got really, really sick. Like, I had all the classic symptoms, but we didn't know what the classic symptoms were, right? I was thirsty all the time, which meant I had to pee all the time. My vision got blurry. I was so tired. I worked on the second floor. My office was on the second floor, and I had to go up the stairs. There was no elevator. And I'd get to the middle landing and sit down because I just...
Oh, my gosh. Significant fatigue. Wow.
And we had no idea what was wrong with me. And then, I started just throwing up one weekend. I just threw up the entire weekend. And I woke up on the bathroom floor. I don't know, maybe it was Monday morning. I lived at home still. And I was like, Mom.
Thank God you lived at home still.
So they come in and it's like everyone's in panic mode and it's a school day. My little sister's got to go to school and Dad's got to go to work. So everybody's going to get ready. And my dad's like, no, I think we need to take you to the hospital. So then everyone loads into the car. We drop my sister off at school.
They're like, you'll be all right. We're just going to make a few detours. Don't worry, honey. Nope. Stay with me while I run my errands.
It was hysterical. Well, not hysterical, but, And then my life changed.
Yeah.
It's been many, many, many moons since.
Wow. Oh. I'm sorry. That sucks. But I'm kind of excited about the developments that are occurring. I mean, I think really soon that people will be able to have islet cell implants or something like that.
Well, I want to be first in line.
Okay.
First in line. Could I please just have it? I don't care.
If I ever become ruler of the world, I'm putting you first in line to get your islet cell transplant. Oh,
Thank you, Joanne.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Let's make it happen.
Yes, it is so. Okay. Thank you for sharing that with me. I'm always really curious about medical stories. So did you lose weight too? Were you losing a lot of weight?
I did lose a lot of weight.
Yeah. Just public service announcement. That's one of the
Yes.
other symptoms.
I just never remember that because I wasn't super heavy at the time. I would love to lose some weight right now.
Well, we all kind of go up and down. So I don't really know that I would have necessarily noticed it at that age either. It's like, oh yeah, I've been really busy or whatever.
Right.
Listeners, just before I forget, this is out of order, but I have a life hack. My kids get car sick, and my poor daughter, Delaney, who's getting ready to leave for college.
Oh.
Yeah, she has thrown up a few different times on buses going to her softball games and stuff.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's just so embarrassing. One time I was a chaperone because it was an overnight trip, and I just handed her a Ziploc bag because I had a bunch of snacks in my bag and I'd organized them into these big Ziplocs. And I handed her one. She barfed into it. I zipped it up. I put it in my bag, and we tried to not make a big deal of it because, it's kind of embarrassing. Well, I went on Amazon recently, and I will link these in the show notes too. I bought these compact little barf bags. I think every person should have a couple in their glove box. And if your kid gets car sick, put one in their backpack if they're going on a trip on the bus and you're not going to be able to be with them. So anyway, that's just a little thing that has made me happy lately. That they're cheap. They're so cheap, and they're just, yeah.
Are they like Ziploc too?
Well, no, they have a firm plastic rim, and then the bag is all smushed up into that. And then as you barf, it just expands. And then I think you can just twist it so it seals. It's not Ziploc. I've gotten them so recently that luckily we haven't, knock on wood, maybe it'll prevent anyone in my family from ever barfing again. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Prevention is the best medicine.
Yes, exactly. That's right. So if you don't want your kids to throw up in the car anymore, buy these barf bags, and then they never will because you'll never use them. But that's okay because they're cheap. So you won't have wasted that much money.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So as you know, the purpose of our talk today is to share some not so fancy moments with the listeners so that they can remember, even though you're super awesome, that you have embarrassing moments too. And everybody does. And it's just normal, and we can laugh about them. And if we tell each other about them, then that's like a bonding experience, and it's super fun. So what do you have for us today? I'll take as many as you have.
As many as I have. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So the one I posted on your Facebook page that you responded to.
Uh-huh.
I was also a chaperone on a trip.
This is dangerous, by the way,
This
obviously.
is very dangerous.
It's dangerous behavior.
This was a very rare perk of being a substitute teacher. I had been substituting for a music teacher who had been out since Thanksgiving, and this was May 1st.
Oh, wow.
I just finished the year for her.
So this was like your class by then.
This was my class by then. So she was a music teacher, so she taught specials, right? So I had everything from kindergartners to 8th graders.
Oh my gosh.
And she was in charge of the choir. And I have a musical background.
Oh, thank goodness.
So this was fun for me. Like, it was the best job ever. I'm like, if I'm going to ever teach full time, I'm going to teach music.
That's awesome.
So I've been working with this choir. I put on their spring concert. I did it all. And my perk was they had been selected to go to Disneyland to take a class from Disneyland music people.
How fun. Oh my gosh. I didn't even know that was a thing. I mean, I knew that sometimes they went to perform, but to take a class, that's like a performance class from the professional musicians. Oh, how neat.
It's so awesome. And they sing a song from a movie, and then they put it to the movie, like the animation, and you can watch it, right? You're like, I'm singing that. That's so cool. So I got to go on this trip with these 7th and 8th graders. Okay. And I was super excited, but it was one of those turnaround trips where you drive all night, you go to the park for 2 days, and then you drive all night again. And
the youngsters are all right, but the chaperones are like, I'm exhausted. I might die.
I was so tired. So the first night on the way, we're driving all night. We leave the school at midnight, right? And the passengers are not allowed to get off the bus until the rest stop that's at 5:30 in the morning. I've been fitfully trying to sleep, right, on a bus, which is near impossible.
Was it at least one of those touring buses, or was it just a school bus?
No, it was a touring bus.
Oh, good. So the seats are a little more comfortable.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Only
ever
a little
so
bit.
slightly. Yeah, yeah.
And But I was on like the very back row, and my seat didn't recline.
Oh, it didn't lean back. Oh gosh.
Didn't lean back at all. So I'm sitting up straight. I brought a pillow, and I'm like trying to curl my body up to sleep in this bus, and it's not working. But by the time 5:30 comes around, I'm in this quasi sleep state where I'm half asleep, but the bus has stopped, and I know I have to pee, so I have to get off the bus to pee. So here I go. I pinball my way down the bus, right?
I can totally picture that.
Bouncing off all the chairs as I go. And I get to the exit of the bus, right? I'm like counting the stairs. Okay, there's 3 stairs to get off of the bus. 1, 2, 3, I should be done. Boom! I hit the ground.
Oh my gosh.
There were 5 steps out of this bus, not 3. Every other bus on the planet has 3 steps, except the one that I'm on. So here I am on the gravel. It's not the best of rest stops. It's gross, and I'm like on the floor, and the bus driver just sits. He's kind of a portly man, sits with his hands over his belly, just looking down at me like, what are you drinking? Right? Like, I swear I'm not drinking anything.
Like, thank you for the sympathy and also the hand. Yeah, thank you very much.
And he just stares at me. My girlfriend, who's also a chaperone, was in front of me, and she kind of turned around. She's like, Tonya, are you okay? And of course, my pride kicks in because I'm on the floor, right? No, I'm good. There's nothing wrong. I'm fine. I peel myself up off the gravel, notice that I have like road rash down my arm.
Oh.
And I'm sure a growing bruise on my butt. And I'm like hobbling to the 4 stalls in this bathroom
that might not even have soap. It's not like you can tend to your wounds.
Right. Oh, pretty sure there wasn't. And 3 busloads of kids waiting to use the bathroom. And I'm like just so glad I did not wet myself, because that would have been the logical thing.
You younger listeners, as you age, especially if you've pushed a baby or 2 through there, it is a little bit harder to pinch it off. Oh my gosh. I am so shocked that you didn't wet yourself. I'm proud of you. I mean, that's like, that might be a Flores family miracle.
It very well might be.
Oh my gosh, you poor thing. So were there any kids who were just laughing and being rude, or were they all so tired they weren't paying attention, or was there a mixture, or what was happening in the audience?
I think because I was in the back on the last seat, I think I was the last one off the bus. So I'm not sure if any of the kids sitting in the bus saw me out the windows or anything. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, nobody said anything to me about it, but it was definitely the condescending look from the bus driver.
Oh. You're like, surely this has happened before. How can I be the only one who fell in the dark at 5 a.m. off of 5 steps on a bus? Like, I picture just like a deck of cards, so boom, 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 one person after another just falling. Oh, gosh, you poor thing. So did you have painful wounds the rest of the trip, or were you all right?
It was mostly okay. My side was a little bit sore because I landed pretty hard.
So were you able to sleep after that? Or
no.
Your adrenaline was pumping then? You're like, I'm going to have a crash later, but I won't be able to sleep the rest of the trip. Oh my gosh.
No, because now we were only like an hour away from Disneyland. And as chaperones, we had to make sure that all of our kids had their tickets, and we had to scan their tickets into our Disneyland app in case they lost them so that they could still in. And so I had to do all this stuff still on that last hour ride to the park, right?
So you had to snap into action. You couldn't just rest and
I couldn't go lick my wounds, no.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and 7th and 8th graders, that would be a real challenge. I mean, it's different if it's like their senior trip and you're practically an adult, you're probably going to be all right. But the 7th and 8th graders, they need a lot of attention on trips like that. It's kind of higher maintenance. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you poor thing. Oh, Lordy. Okay, what is your least fancy moment in a Walmart?
Oh, my gosh. I am going to be one of those people of Walmart. I just know. Someday I'm going to be scrolling through those pictures, and there will be a picture of me. In order to be a substitute teacher in the state of Arizona, you have to have a vaccine that I cannot remember which one it was that I went to get. But you have to
Meningitis,
have
whooping cough.
I think it was, I don't know. It was a vaccine.
Okay.
That I hadn't had probably since I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go and get this vaccine. Fine, whatever. I also had to pay for it. And Walmart was the cheapest place to get it. Mm-hmm. And it was like $75.
She's no fool.
Yeah. So I went to Walmart and I got this vaccine. And they're like, have you ever had problems with vaccines before? I'm like, no, I've never had a problem. Just give me the shot. We'll be good. They're like, okay, you can hang around in the pharmacy for a little while or go do your shopping, whatever you need to do before you leave. I'm like, okay, sure. So I just kind of walked out into the pharmacy and kind of started to feel a little weird. And next thing I know, I'm waking up on the bench in the pharmacy with my arms around my purse, like laid out on the bench. Oh I wake up this way. I wake up laid out on a bench in the pharmacy at Walmart.
Clutching your purse.
Clutching my purse. Thank goodness I was clutching my purse because,
I told you she was no fool, you guys. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's kind of embarrassing.
And nobody checked on me. Nobody
what?
Who's the one passed out in the pharmacy? Right?
Holy cow.
Passed out.
You're like, oh, no, don't mind me. Nothing to see here. I'll just take care of myself. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yep. It was shocking. I'm like, I can't believe nobody has taken a picture of the woman passed out in the Walmart pharmacy.
You never know. Nobody helped you, but that doesn't mean nobody documented it.
Exactly. Because everybody's taking a picture of everything. You know that somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
It was terrible.
Oh, and then did you just stay there for a little while, or were you like, I'm getting out of here? I mean, because you're still not probably feeling that well. You're like, I can't stand up and run out of here because I might pass out again.
Right. I'm like, I have to drive myself home. I'm not sure I can do that. So I kind of sat there for a while wondering, and then I had to process what happened. Like, why am I laying on the bench in the pharmacy at Walmart? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got a vaccine. I've never had any kind of reaction to a vaccine before. And that one did it to me.
Huh.
I mean, even since, I've never had a reaction to a vaccine.
Crazy. But I mean, it probably wasn't a vaccine specific reaction, but who knows?
I don't know, right?
Huh. Yeah. I mean, I guess anytime we have a shot or anything that's stressful or painful can make us vasovagal and pass out. But
I've been doing shots forever.
Exactly. Like, hello, if anybody is used to a needle, it's you.
It's me, right? It's not like this is a weird thing for me.
Right. No, this is like an everyday, oh yeah, go ahead. I'm a pincushion. Just let me have it and I'm out of here. Wow.
Pretty much.
Oh, you poor thing. Okay. If anybody was at that Walmart and took a picture of Tonya, send it in and we'll put it in the show notes.
It was only like 4 years ago, so it could be there.
You never know. Let's talk about life hacks. Do you have a life hack you could share today?
I do have a life hack.
Oh, good.
My children have chores, right? Everybody who lives in this house has to do something to contribute. And we have daily chores. So every day after dinner, somebody has to do the dishes. Somebody has to clean up the table and wipe all the counters. And somebody has to sweep the floor. Well, sweeping the floor with a 7-year-old is not really, actually, with the 9 and the 11-year-old, it's not really great either.
Like, you got to be somewhat coordinated to sweep the floor effectively.
I'm usually the one helping with the dishes to make sure that everything is done with the dishes. And my husband has been the one helping sweep the floor. So there we go. About my acts of service, love language. He knows which button to take. Help the children with the floor.
Easy peasy. Yeah. Right before bedtime. Smart man.
Yes. So it's just been a trial to sweep the floor. And I was up visiting my sister. So technically, this is my sister's life hack that I have stolen because it's a good life hack. Mm-hmm. And she had this stick vacuum hanging on the wall. I'm like, what do you use that for? She's like, well, the kids use it to sweep the floor. I'm like, are you serious?
Like they use in restaurants?
No, not the ones that you run. It's battery operated.
Oh, yes. So it's a real vacuum cleaner.
It's a real vacuum cleaner, but you just plug it in and recharge it and then unplug it when you need to use it and go on your merry little way. So sweeping the floor was like the worst chore. They all hated it. They didn't want to do it. Oh, I've got floor. And now they fight over, oh, it's my turn to do floor. Yes, I get to do the floor. They take the stick vacuum and they vacuum all the tile in the house. And it has been a life-changing thing that I've never had my children so excited to do anything. Maybe also it's still a little bit of a novelty because it's only been like 3 weeks in our house.
That's okay. But I'll take it.
They are still loving it, and they don't fight about doing the floor anymore.
Wow, that's awesome. And what kind of stick vacuum is it?
I've got like some knockoff brand on Amazon, right?
Yeah, because the Dyson stick vacuums are super expensive.
I searched everywhere, and then on Prime Day, I'm like, okay, which one's on sale? Okay, we'll get that one.
So smart. Okay, you guys can do it on Black Friday. It's not that far away.
Yes.
You can wait.
Yeah. My sister likes the Wise one. WYZE.
Oh, okay. I'll link that one too. What have you been loving lately that you think the other listeners might love too?
Okay. So I love to read and I love podcasts. So I have my favorite podcasts. I listen to you all the time. I'm like all caught up. Your email, you're like, go make sure you listen to some podcasts. I'm like, dude, I'm caught up.
That's awesome. So what else do you listen to?
I am loving The Happiness Lab by Dr. Laurie Santos. It is so intriguing because she's this really smart person who's been studying happiness, and she teaches a class at Yale, and she did her whole class on a podcast. So I took the whole class on a podcast, and now
you're like, I'm a Yale educated teacher now.
I'm smart. And it's just very intriguing, like how your mind works and what your brain is telling you, and really what is reality is different from what your brain is seeing. So it's very intriguing. I love it.
Awesome. I'm definitely going to add that to my list. Thank you. I love podcasts too.
Mm-hmm. I also love Mike Rowe's podcast. It started as this little 10-minute podcast, like The Way I Heard It style. Paul Harvey. So he started out like that, doing these little 10-minute podcasts, and they're just intriguing. Some of them are not safe for families, a few, but most of them are, and they're just intriguing. And then he wrote a book, and then he read his book, and now his podcasts are more than an hour long, but they're still very good to listen to.
Nice. And you have a couple books that you love. Tell us about those. I'm always looking for a good book.
I love Katie Cross, and I love K.M. Shea.
What kind of books do they write?
Katie Cross has a series of fantasy books, and she has a series of clean romance books. Both are excellent. I love them all. And then K.M. Shea has a series of fairy tale retellings that are amazing. And my kids love them.
If you find a book that you love and your kids love, it's such a gift because you can read them together out loud, or you can read them separately and then talk about them. It's huge.
It has been our story time for a long time.
I love that.
What's K.M. Shea got? Let's read it.
What is one surprising thing about you that people wouldn't know just by looking?
In my profile picture that I sent you, I made that dress.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's exciting. I love to sew too. Do you sew a lot, or is that like a one-off project that you did to impress yourself?
Oh no. I make a bunch. I usually make dresses for my girls, especially at like Easter or special occasions. But there are two hobbies involved here, right? There's the actual sewing hobby, and then there's the collecting of fabric hobby.
I'm a fabric and pattern collector. Tonya, I need to live till I'm 600 years old, or I will not get all these done.
Oh, everything.
It's so embarrassing.
I have so many patterns, so much. Like I'm sitting here in my living room looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 stacks of fabric.
We had a fabric store go out of business before I moved away from Reno, and I would go there like once a week and buy fabric, and I'd never. It's terrible. It is terrible. And then we moved here and it had to be revealed. My husband was like, oh my God. I had so many totes full of fabric and he was like, what is all this? And never mind. Just pass it along. We'll talk about it later.
Move it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Crazy.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Now people are going to be zooming in on your eyes and your dress on your profile picture. Okay. I'll post the profile picture big on the show notes too, instead of just tiny in the show graphics. So, oh my gosh, Tonya. Okay. You're funny because you were like, I'm just a lady who fell off a bus. I don't think I can be on your podcast. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure you can't. I have had so much fun talking to you. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you. Oh, it's been so much fun.
Okay, you guys, I think I say this a lot, but I really mean it every time I say it. I wish Tonya Flores and I could be next door neighbors. That conversation was so much fun. You guys, I'm so sorry it took me forever to get this episode out. I just am burning the candle at both ends, friends, and I don't really have a better excuse than that, but I miss you guys, and every time I edit an episode, I'm like, oh, I need to do this more often. All I can say is I am committing to keep going, and irregularity is just going to have to be better than nothing. I do want to tell you that Shelfie Shoppe is going crazy, you guys. It's so much fun. Leanne Morgan posted a video of herself in her maxi dress on her Facebook stories. She has 1.4 million followers, and I practically sold out of the maxi dress that day. It was so much fun. And then I'm actually a member of a bunch of Facebook groups that are different various groups of female physicians, and one of my customers is in one of those groups, and she posted a picture of herself in her just above the knee short sleeve dress. So cute. And then I immediately sold out of those. So it's really exciting. We're coming out with some new styles. The next batch will be short sleeve shirts without the kangaroo pocket. We're going to make more long sleeve t-shirts without pockets. And we are expanding to plus size. So if you are interested in plus size shelfies, go to shelfieshoppe.com. That's SHELFIESHOPPE.com and sign up for the mailing list. I promise I will not spam you because I hate it when I get spammed. But I will let you know when new items have been stocked in the store. I'll let you know when new styles come out. And I'll let you know about sales. Like I just had a big 35% off sale on summer styles. So our stock is super low. It's so fun. But you can always go to shelfieshoppe.com. Find the item, color, and size that you want and click the back in stock button, and then you will get an alert as soon as that particular item is back in stock. And, you know, I used to say use the code FANCYFREE for free shipping, but now every order gets free shipping except for orders to Canada, and that's a flat $17 shipping, including duties paid, so that's a pretty good deal to Canada. So now I'm going to change FANCYFREE to a 10% discount on your purchase. So use the code FANCYFREE for 10% off at shelfieshoppe.com. And right now you may not be able to find what you like, but more is coming soon and I will keep you posted. Make sure to go to the show notes at fancyfreepodcast.com/episode and then whatever episode number this is. And you will be able to find all the links that we talked about and anything else pertinent. And I will be back with our next episode. I interviewed another doctor. She was so much fun. I absolutely love interviewing doctors. It helps me live vicariously through them because I kind of miss it, but I don't miss it enough to actually go and do it. Have a wonderful week. And remember, no one is as fancy as they look.